Hello, everybody. Welcome to Close of Business, Episode 2, Part 2. We decided after recording the original Episode 2 that we could not put enough into that episode, so we decided to make a second episode in which we'll bring you another interview from a college recruiter, John McLaughlin. We'll also have a segment, The Podium, where we'll discuss our beefs with the recruitment process. And I think that's it. We're going to keep it a little light today because our last episode was a little long. Let's get to it.
John, we're really excited to have you here, but I guess first what we're going to start off with is having you just let our listeners know kind of your name and position here at Black Veatch.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I'm John McLaughlin. I am the college recruiting manager here at Black Veatch.
So what we did with Brittany last time, just so that the listeners could get to know her, is we did what was called a quick round of speed dating. So we ask you random questions, then you have to come up with a response. Sorry to spring this on you last minute, but you know what? We got to get your listeners to know you.
All
So,
right.
Okay, your first question, what is your favorite Starburst color?
I would go with red.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
man, we're 1 for 2. 1 for 2. I prefer Brittany. I'm just kidding.
Aaron's favorite is yellow, and
Yellow,
we've had a
you
massive
think?
debate about how that's just not normal.
This
It's
is,
not.
This is quickly getting blown out of proportion, and I love it because it needs to be talked about. Exactly. This is critical stuff that our listeners need to learn about. So, okay, John, no judgment.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Yeah,
okay.
no fruit on pizza. Okay, 2 for. I'm in
But
agreement with you.
I
there.
do like fruit pizzas.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Yes.
There's a
yes.
contradiction there. We didn't even think about that.
We don't want actual
Pizza.
baked pizzas with
Yeah.
fruit on it, but we do want a good fruit pizza.
It's cold fruit pizza.
Do you sleep with your socks on?
I do not.
A good,
There we go.
a good sane human being.
In the
It says a
past,
lot.
good.
It's telling if
This is
someone
true.
sleeps with their socks on.
It's a subtle thing, but it tells a lot.
Chipotle or Qdoba?
Qdoba.
What?
Ooh, okay.
The queso is the
Going
queso
against
the
type here.
Well, I haven't had the new queso on Chipotle, but I would say on Qdoba, I think because going back, they had a lot more options
Yeah.
initially starting out. So.
Okay. I see that.
Okay.
Hanging out at the beach or skiing in the mountains?
I like both, but skiing in the mountains. I like being
Yeah.
active in the winter
There you
time.
go.
And,
Fellow shredder.
yeah.
I like it. What's your favorite sports season?
I would say college football season.
Nice.
I like
Fun.
the fall
Good answer.
weather and hoodies and leaves on the ground.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Tailgating and all that stuff.
Tailgating, yeah.
Heck yeah. What is the last song you listened to?
I wasn't listening to the radio when I was listening to NPR on the way back over.
Attaboy.
So-
Attaboy.
We got some big NPR fans
man,
here.
That's
Yeah.
John. If I could hug you right now, I would hug you.
That's why Aaron and I are huge podcast people in the
This is
first
true.
place. It's because
It's
of
true.
all the NPR podcasts.
Yeah.
We're obsessed
Yes.
with them. All right, awesome. So you obviously introduced yourself in your position. You want to tell us a little bit about your history at Black Veatch and how you got to where you are?
Yeah, so I've been doing college recruiting for a little over 12 years as a whole.
Awesome.
I've worked in a few different sectors, started in college admissions, then when I got on the corporate side, I moved over to IT recruiting in the healthcare and technology space, then got into the engineering and construction space, and then here at Black Veatch, I've been here almost 4 years now, and started as a recruiter, and then about a year and a half ago moved into the management position on the team. So,
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. Cool history. I like it. Okay, so just to lighten the mood, do you have 3 embarrassing or funny stories that you've experienced during the recruitment process? You don't have to name names,
Yeah,
none of
or
that, but do you have any
locations.
funny stories?
no, I think the funny things are, and I feel sorry sometimes for the misfortune of the students sometimes, but just, I guess when they come up, they're nervous as all get out and ready to impress you, and they come up and they'll ask you, tell me a little bit about your company, and they'll say a different company's name or something. Or
Did that happen to you
That
once?
happened exactly
and
like
that,
that.
happens more than you think, so I'm pretty.
That was nice of him
able
not to mention me by
kinda-
name. Yeah, I
kind of
gotcha.
roll with it. But the along with that or like students handing a resume and they'll have it tailored to the company, and they'll give you the wrong
one.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So, and I usually don't point it out, or if I do, I make light of it and make a little joke, but try to make them feel good about it. But but other than that, no, nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, it's usually kind of the candidate gaffes, on campus, because they're just so nervous and they're ready to impress you, and then
Oh man. All right. So first topic. You want to tell them what the first topic is about?
We're going to kick off our first topic is focusing on the career fair.
Okay.
Such an interesting little arena where so many things are happening, both on the student side, but also on the recruiting side, and that's the kind of perspective we wanted to bring to this. So really just starting off, describe the career fair experience from the professional recruiter perspective, because the students all know how they feel, and we remember how we felt during that process. It wasn't that long ago. What is it like from your perspective?
So on my end, in addition to bringing professionals, whether they're alumni of the university that we're attending or not, on our end, we're excited to be there. We are ready to meet new people, it's a new season, new faces, but also it's a great opportunity to reconnect with students that we've met over the years. So for me, I'm one of those people, I don't forget a name or face typically, and when I see a resume, it definitely jogs your memory. Nice. And for me, on my end, I enjoy seeing those students that do come back after year. Maybe they went to another company, maybe they did research, maybe they took a different opportunity, but they're back to still come and talk to us at Black Veatch. So for me, I get excited to be on campus. For me, that's my favorite time of year, aside from when all of our interns come to Black Veatch. The fall is fall recruitment kicks off kind of our year, and it's a welcome change from change of pace, being in the office and getting out there and connecting with students, connecting with faculty.
What are some of the behaviors that you like to see that leave the best impression with you when you talk to a candidate at the career fair?
I think confident candidates that know what they want. So the students that come up and know why they want to talk to our professionals, how their major or their field of study or previous experiences that they have, whether it's research or internships or co-ops, how that aligns with Black Veatch, and being able to articulate that without coming off rude or arrogant, pretentious, that they know everything about us. I would say the students that come in there that know which business line that they have an interest in, that really says a lot. That says a lot. That they've done their research, they know where they fit, they know how what it is that they want to do and where it fits here at Black Veatch.
But the main takeaway is you want to go into the career fair. All the professionals are going to be looking at hundreds of resumes. What can you do to interact with them in a way that they leave and you stick in their mind? And I remember this one person, and I'm going to find their resume and call them back for an interview.
You mentioned elevator speech a while back, and everybody knows that's as critical as having your shoes shined and resumes printed for a career fair. You have to have that elevator speech down. And what makes the best elevator speech, in your opinion?
I would say being to the point and direct. So concise, but articulating what it is you're wanting to do, why XYZ company, whether it's Black Veatch or another, fits with what it is you're studying, and how an internship with us or would, how you would benefit from that, how we may benefit from you joining us, but also how you're looking to leverage your degree.
I like that angle, the leverage. I like that.
We talk to so many students, and having a thorough understanding of how what it is you're studying aligns with Black Veatch and where you would fit in, because more often than not, we get a lot of students that they come in and speak in generalities, and that makes it really hard for myself or the other professionals that are with our team members to make an assessment at that point. Because we're trying to make a fairly quick assessment at the career fair of, are these people that we would want to consider for the next step in the process. The same with, even when we're reviewing resumes online, there has to be something that kind of jumps out at us that is going to make us pick up the phone and want to call them.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that a lot too. Is it beneficial for freshmen or unqualified candidates to still come to the booth and talk to you guys?
I know I was that freshman my first semester at Iowa State. I came to the booth and said, hey, my name tag says freshman undeclared, but I'm still here, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my high school resume.
It looks great. Yeah, me bagging groceries for 3 years really got me a lot of face time.
Yeah, so I welcome it, and when I see freshmen, the first thing I ask, and a lot of our professionals will ask, what year in school are you? When are you graduating? So that we can confirm that and validate which way the conversation should go. Mm-hmm. So when we see those freshmen, especially like this fall, first semester freshmen, I welcome that because they're in the mix there with everybody. Now, I caution them and I usually advise, hey, if you're going to go to the career fair, go later in the day. Let the juniors, the seniors, the upperclassmen have that time with the recruiters so that they're getting the bulk of the opportunity there because they're the ones that they're really looking for. Now, I'm not going to discourage a freshman or even a sophomore from coming in because companies will look at freshmen and sophomores and there may be some opportunities out there for you with maybe some smaller firms that are looking to take a chance on a student early in their career and give them a shot.
That's a pro tip right there.
Yeah, so I think going in there and checking out the lay of the land is crucial because then when you come back in the spring or you come back as a sophomore when you're on your A game, you've done your research, you've got a little bit more coursework under your belt, maybe you did something between the summer in your freshman and sophomore years and you roll into that fall career fair your second year of school, you know what to expect. You know who you want to talk to and you know how to kind of navigate the landscape and kind of what to expect.
When would be the best time that you would recommend that students try to come by the booth?
Ooh, good
More
question.
towards the beginning of the
that's
day,
the critical one.
or is it good towards the end of the day when the line is shorter? What do you think?
I would say
You have the fatigue factor at the end of the day too.
I would say there is a fatigue factor at the end of the day, and literally every career fair that I went to this year, we had a line until 10 minutes before the fair shut down.
Yeah.
So every career fair we'd be going for 5 to 7 hours, and literally the last 10 minutes the line just disappeared. So I would say earlier is better. You're going to have a line probably the whole day almost. So
it is what
it is. So figure it out. What works for you with your schedule. If you have classes, plan accordingly. If you don't have classes and you're fortunate that your faculty are understanding during career fair week, then make the most of that. But I would say plan that accordingly. Plan that you're going to have to spend some time waiting in lines, maybe for 30 minutes to be able to talk to somebody.
So what is your number one do and number one don't for the career fair? I know that's
it's a loaded question.
Yeah, that
exactly.
is a loaded question. But if you're going to leave current college students away with one thing, what would it be?
I would say the do is do your research and really understand what it is the companies that you're looking at do, where you fit, and do they even do what you have an interest in? Because we get students that will come up and the next question is I'll ask them, what is it that you want to do? And it may be something completely unrelated from any of the markets that we serve. And then I would say the don't. Don't show up during the last half hour of the career fair unless you absolutely can help it.
So going right to the other portion of the interview we wanted to get your take on, John, is the interview. We all focus on the career fair, but then it comes the crucial, specific interaction of the interview. We've heard this is kind of an old wives' tale, but we sort of halfway believe it because it's too brilliant not to believe. But is it true that an interviewer knows in the first 30 seconds whether or not they're going to be a prime candidate for this position?
30 seconds might be pushing it a little bit. Depending on how long you've been interviewing and doing that, I would say within the first 5 minutes, I mean, I would say for a recruiter, I might be able to know in about 60 seconds, but I know, there's my perception versus a engineer maybe asking more technical questions is a little bit different. But I would say from the skills, body language, appearance, professionalism, those things are going to resonate pretty quickly, and their ability to articulate. So I think in that first 5 minutes, if I'm asking a couple questions, and they're able to give me some pretty detailed, meaty responses, I would say I'm going to know, yes, this is somebody that we're going to be able to move forward with. And
Totally. So we're going to rule myth confirmed.
I think you're right. Yeah, myth confirmed.
Maybe change the time a little bit. 30 seconds was a bit aggressive.
But he did confirm that for a talented HR professional, much like himself, 30 seconds is totally doable. Like, so he did confirm that both timeline. Yeah. So
X Factor style.
exactly confirmed. Put a stamp on it.
What type of preparation should a candidate do? I know that you mentioned you like it when candidates show up to the career fair doing their research. Yeah. What kind of research should they do ahead of time before their interview?
I would say try to research a little bit more about prospective departments or business lines that they have more of an interest in within the company. See if it's for an internship. Try to research as much as they can about the internship program at that company and find out as much as they can. If they know alumni who recently graduated in the last couple of years, people in sorority, fraternity, other student organizations that they're a part of, try to get as much intel as they can in advance.
Huge fan of intel gathering. It's all about intel.
But I think that, and then I was guilty of this at one point when I was starting my career, and I was a student once upon a time. I was one of those people that thought I could ace the interview and didn't need any prep or any practice or anything like that. So I highly suggest to students, if you get an opportunity to participate in mock interviews, to do that.
Nice.
Because it's practice, but take it seriously. And the other thing is there are opportunities. I'd say at most schools, I won't say all, but a lot of them will bring in employers to come in and do mock interviews so that you do take it seriously.
Yeah.
And
you have some skin in the game during practice.
Because then you're like, okay, I'm talking to a company that I may want to actually talk to a year from now because I'm a freshman or I'm a sophomore. By the time you're a junior or senior, hopefully you've had a little bit of practice and have met with some companies. But I would say, for that on-campus interview, and then if you're coming to the office for an interview, if it's a on-site interview at the company, doing your research of kind of what to expect, through that process, and maybe asking people that are working there, what should I expect, understand, attire and things like that, and culture, and be prepared to ask questions, because ultimately, if you aren't asking questions, that's probably the biggest downfall in an interview.
That was perfect.
You just took the next question out of my mouth. Took it.
Exactly. How is
good
that possible?
advice.
It's a serendipity.
Good advice. I think that's something that every interviewer asks or interviewee asks themselves. Do I need to show up with a killer question or have questions ready to go? But
what I'm hearing is an unequivocal yes. You have to.
Yeah. I would say have some things that, especially questions that are thoughtful and thought-provoking from the interviewer, because if you go and ask them something that you could readily find on
the internet,
bb.com, then
totally.
They're not going to be impressed by that. But if don't go overboard and be quoting statistics and things like that.
That's where I'm going to come in with this unfairly specific question, since our listeners love easy, digestible things. Give us a number, meaning what's the threshold of just enough to where I'm interested in as a recruiter, I know you did your research, versus anything beyond that threshold?
Number of questions, you mean?
Number of questions, there we go.
I would say 3 to 5.
3 to 5,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do the final, what is your number one do and number one don't for interviews?
I personally would say don't name drop.
Oh, nice. There you go. I'm counterproductive.
Yeah, it could help you, but then you have others that it may not help you. I don't really know. That would probably be my suggestion, would be not name dropping when possible. If you have family members or whatever it may be working there, we may already know that. So on the do side, I will leave it with do ask questions, because if you don't, you'll regret that. You'll walk out of here, and then you'll have the people who evaluated you, being like, well, I guess this person knows everything about our company,
or isn't interested,
or isn't it? It does. I would say that would be one of the things that it does display is kind of a lack of interest, or and sometimes we'll write it off to they retired at the end, if it was a long round of interviews, but ideally make the most of that time, because you have it and you got selected for the interview, and use that opportunity to the fullest.
Nice.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
I can't think of any right now, John.
You're some lucky listeners
Yes,
getting some
exactly.
really important advice straight from
the point authority.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
The Black Veatch point authority,
Take
John.
note, people. Take
Yeah.
note. Listen to this podcast twice if you have to. But thanks so much for
Yeah.
stopping by. We
John,
love
thank
talking
you very
to you.
much. This
Thanks
was
for having
excellent.
me.
Thank you.
Anyways, we're gonna get to a little segment here. We're gonna bring you the podium, in which it's probably the first time we've done the podium on this podcast.
This will be the first time,
Yeah,
Maiden voyage.
All right,
Got
so
a champagne bottle to crack on this sucker. Let's do
yeah,
it.
so it's hardly a new concept, just our own like little top 10 list. Except instead of top 10, we'll be giving our gold, silver, and bronze medals. And this week's podium is beef with the recruitment process. So we're gonna go around snake draft order. Kim, you want to go? Okay, I'll go ahead and start. So my gold, I guess we're going to start with bronze and work our way to gold. So my bronze is when you're making your resume and you've got that format perfectly. You got it formatted perfectly from last year. You go in, you change one thing, and literally everything shifts to 3 pages.
Oh, man.
Moves to landscape in the entire format. So my beef is Microsoft Word resume formatting. Becca?
My bronze is standing in career fair lines in heels,
Ooh.
and not even cute ones. Like, they have to be modest ones. I'm not okay with that.
I personally identify with that one.
Yeah.
You're always rocking that 3 to 4 inch little wedge on your dress shoes.
No
there,
wedges.
Kevin?
We do straight stilettos.
Oh, straight stiletto.
I'm short, so
Stilettos.
I gotta up my height.
I was just thinking that.
Stilettos.
We rock it so-
In the club.
All right.
Kim.
All right, so my bronze is having to create a profile when you're trying to a new profile every time you're trying to apply online for a
Yeah,
different.
That's
it's like
so
a
true.
It's like a burner cell phone. You're like, you only have it for 10 days, but you have to put your all into
And
it.
it's because you probably are using your password.
Yes.
That you've just thrown out to. You don't know how secure these.
Probably not a good idea to broadcast that like live on recording, Kevin. You're probably going to get hacked like the next week.
Well, I've already been hacked.
Well, too late.
Hashtag.
Joke's on you, Aaron. My identity was stolen.
Joke's on you. His name isn't even Kevin Flaker.
Yeah. I'm actually Roger Clemente. I was a key witness in a cartel murder, and I am now part of the scene.
Aaron,
Wow.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Aaron, what's your silver or gold or bronze?
We're doing a snake drop with a snake drop.
Yeah,
comment?
snake drop.
My bronze is that one wardrobe malfunction that happens to you, like on the bus to the career fair, like your shoelace breaks or your belt breaks or whatnot. You don't have any time to go back, but it happens to you at the point of no return. Meaning, like, you're at the event horizon heading into the interview, and you have to power through, soldier through with, like, a broken fly zipper. Like, that's happened to me. Where you have to sit in a certain way with the legs crossed. You got to make it happen.
So what's your silver?
Silver is the gymnasium interview. I cannot stand having a conversation like this with like 200 other people around me having the same conversation.
All right, so my silver is, I'm just going to keep picking on online applications, but having to go through like 50,000 pages while you're applying online. Get me out of here, get this thing wrapped up, let's go.
My silver is waiting for that call back. You know,
Ooh,
you
yeah.
leave the career fair, you've done your best, you're waiting to hear if you get that next day interview. You feel like the crazy girl waiting for the text back from the boy after a date. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Preach.
seriously the worst.
Preach.
Seriously the worst.
Yeah.
So my silver was standing in lines only to be told to apply online. So then my gold, and this isn't necessarily a beef with the recruitment process, this is a beef with all the tryhards at networking events. If I catch another one, I'm going to have to toss these hands because I hate those people in networking events, info nights.
Yeah.
They just want to hear themselves talk.
Oh, the overeager hand raiser?
Yeah, the overeager hand raiser, the hog the introduction line, that
Yeah.
never let you get a turn to speak, and you're at dinner they're telling a story that everyone's cringing at, just like
Yep.
they're gonna catch these hands.
My gold is walking through the career fair and making eye contact with a recruiter from a small company that doesn't have a line.
Oh,
And
good.
then you feel obligated to go and talk to them.
yeah.
That's really
that's a
awkward.
good-
That's a good one.
That's an
Oh.
excellent one.
Becca, you just made me feel weird.
That is tight.
It's happened to
Nice.
all of us. Am I wrong?
No, you're not
We're
wrong.
all
Oh my gosh.
engineers, so you can tell we're all engineers by how awkward we just got. We're all cringing and we started sweating profusely, like at the idea of having to talk to this.
Kevin just tried to go into fetal position for a second there. Avoid social awkwardness.
For the
Immediately
record,
go to fetal
yeah.
position.
I was tying my shoe, but yeah. I did it at the exact moment.
This is true, yeah.
Damn.
You're
Okay.
up.
All right.
Go.
So my goal is when you are in the interview process for an internship and you are competing against a classmate or a friend.
That's
Ooh.
awkward.
And then
You
you
see
have to
them
talk
at the
about-
company office.
You
Ooh,
either
that's the
walk by
worst.
them
Yep.
on the in and out, or you have to like force a conversation about it with your friend.
You ever
Yes.
That interview,
Yeah,
did you nail
and
it?
it's
Did you nail that
shortlisted to
interview?
2 people, and you know it's you two.
yeah, and you don't want to be like, so how'd it go? But on the inside, you're like, so how'd they do?
Yeah.
Hope it went well, but I'm not rooting for you.
Exactly. It's like, I hope you did well, but actually I'm lying to you right to your face.
What I would do is I just untie their shoes. So when they get in there, they trip and make an idiot of themselves.
My goal is...
All right, that was today's podium. Does anyone have anything that like they have that they didn't make the top 3, but they just
Honorable
wanna run?
mentions?
Honorable mentions. I've got one.
Go for
Career fair always lands on test week.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you do, you have
True that.
tests. You always have those hardo teachers who are like, your education's more important than finding a job. What?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, one of my honorable mentions was walking around on campus in your suit when it's like 90 degrees outside and you have class before and you're like, okay, I look like a freaking dweeb. I'm sweating my
It's always
my
the hottest day.
badonk
Yeah,
off. Oh,
exactly.
always.
It's fall, but for some reason feels like September. Summer.
Oh,
It's fall,
But it feels like September. What is that?
Oh man. Oh man.
Or having to enter your expected income. Like,
Ooh,
what
yeah,
do you
that's
expect?
a trap question.
That
Trap
is-
question.
Yeah, that's just not even fair.
Like,
because then
no.
it's like if you put it too low, then they're like, okay, well we can legitimately pay this
Pay us.
person less, and you don't. Yeah, and you don't want to make it too high because then it's like this person is great
Yeah.
fisher,
All right.
mother fluffer.
A mother fishing son of a... Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody. Once again, thanks John McLaughlin. Another great interview. We're 2 for 2 for amazing interviews with our recruiters. If you guys have any questions, comments on today's episode, as usual, you can email us at cobpodcast@gmail.com and go ahead and give our YouTube channel or SoundCloud channel a couple views, a couple likes, a couple shares. We're at COB Close Business Podcast on both those platforms. Go ahead and give our Instagram a follow at COB Podcast. Awesome, guys. Thanks. Love you.